Okay, we're going to tie a fly here called the Claret Foxwing. I came up with this fly a few years ago. Nothing totally new or anything like that, just some color combinations that work well. First we're going to start with our large plastic tubing, melt the back end. Okay, let's get our nice ridge. And this tube, we're going to want the final tube to be about 1.5 inches long, so I'm just going to cut this a little bit. And I'm not adding a beater cone to this, but I do want a nice fine head on it, or a smaller head than I would get with the bigger tube here. So I'm going to insert, just going to diagonally cut some liner tube or small Scandinavian tubing. Okay, so I just kind of made a diagonal cut on that, like a syringe tip kind of. Okay, I'm going to slip it in. Okay, put a bit of pressure and get it in there, at least a 1/4 inch. Okay, just like that. And we'll leave about almost a 1/2 inch in the front just in case the fly goes goofy on us. Okay, put it onto our tapered needle. And we're ready to go. Okay, start with black thread, and like I usually do, I'll just compress at the head here or near the front, just so I can really make sure the small tubing is attached to the large. I'll take my thread all the way back. Shouldn't say all the way back, but I'll leave the usual 1/8 inch gap there. Okay, now I'm going to start with some Arctic Fox red. That's a really kind of cherry red color. Okay, I'm just going to take a bunch off and pick out all the underfur. Start with the tail here. A nice kind of tapered tail. And we want it about half as long as the actual fly. I'll just zoom out a little bit here. Okay, I'm just going to add in some black finished snow raccoon right on top of the red tail, just so we have a two-color tail. And put the butt in now. This is black ostrich, and this step's not really necessary. It just makes the fly look a little snazzier. Okay, we'll just cut that off. Okay, at this point we're going to add a mylar rib here, just tied in the back, and because it's called the Claret Foxwing, you go with Claret floss just for the first half of the body, and try and get this as even as possible. Okay, we'll tie that off. Now we'll just reverse wrap our silver tinsel. Just a rib to cover that floss up. Okay, at this point we add a kind of a middle of a fly wing, I guess you could call. We're going to do the same thing we did with the tail, except right in the middle of the body now. So again, red fox. And you don't want to have a serious wing here, just a thin little thing, just put a little extra color in. We want to go a little bit longer so it almost comes up behind the tail. Okay. And we'll go in with the black again, the black Snow Runner. Pardon me, Finnish Snow Coon. Just pull out guard hairs, things like that. Again, you just want a thin little wing here, nothing big at all. And you can see how it just kind of nicely matches in with the tail there. Almost kind of like a Matuka style, just about. Just done a little bit differently. At this point we'll put a large hackle in. It's actually a dark brown. I'm actually out of black right now. So dark brown. We got these really long hackles specifically for tube flies, because tube flies really eat up your material, especially when you're palmering it down. So I want to find a nice big one. And we're going to tie it in by the tip, so we'll just grab the tip and pull it. You can see with these nice hackles you've got a long amount of hackle to wind on. Okay, tied in by the tip. And this is where you can add your favorite dubbing. We like to use seal just because we have it. Mountains of it actually lately. Oops. And we don't use a dubbing loop, we just put it right on. We like it kind of sparse. The dubbing loop we find kind of tightens it up way too much. Especially with the seal, we like to have kind of some space behind it. Kind of opens it up a little bit, makes it shine more. If you put it on too tight, it just looks like wool almost. Right. We'll bring it right to almost the edge where the big tube meets the little tube. And we'll palmer on our black. It's kind of up to you how sparse or how tight you want it. Well, I guess it also depends on how long your feather is too. And I'm actually going to bring it down right down to the bottom, to the smaller tube, and do a couple of extra wraps since I've got them with my feather. I got the length to do it. And we'll just pull back. And it looks pretty ridiculous right now, but it'll smarten up once we get some more wing in. I'll go back to my red fox. I want to get the longest stuff I've got now. I want the wing to really come back over this fly. Again, we'll just pull out our guard hairs, or pardon me, our underfur. Let's see if that'll work. Yeah. Okay, so the red goes in. On top of that red, I'm going to add a little bit of pearlescent Flashabou. Just not a lot. This stuff's so strong. 3 or 4 strands, just to give a little glimmer in the wing. And put it right on top. Okay, at this point we're going to add the final collar. We've used Badger for this, or we've used just regular red hackle as well. One we've been playing around with is furnace hackle. It's a really nice long furnace hackle. And the best part about furnace hackle, or Badger for that instance too, is it has 2 tones. It has the red outside tone and then the black on the inside. It makes a really nice effect for the color, just because red and black are so predominant throughout the fly. I'll try and get right to the tip because as the furnace hackle goes up to from the base of the tip, the red becomes more predominant. It makes a really nice transition. We'll pull all that back. We're going to add our final wing, and I'm sure you can guess by now the final wing is just a topping of black. And for the topping, it's the same black finished snow raccoon, except this time I'm leaving in the guard hairs. I'm not sure if you can see that. You can see the under fur and the guard hairs. I'll leave it all in, just because the guard hairs will really make a nice taper. And you can see that. See the guard hairs at the front there, and these are the back, the regular fur at the base. The whole thing goes in and makes it look that much better. And the black I'm going to tie in even a little longer than the red. Okay, and just to finish off this fly, I'm going to add jungle cock. We like to tie it in quite long. It's important if you're using jungle cock too to really tie it down tight. Nothing worse when you make a nice fly and then the jungle cock rips off on the first fish. You usually just have to get a few more wraps here to make a nice even head. Okay, we'll whip finish this twice at least. Okay, we'll just cut off the tip a bit. Quick melt with our torch. And you can see it's got a nice ridge there on the front. If you wet it down a little bit, I got a crazy piece of flash hanging out here. Okay, so I just added some purple junction tubing to the back, just so I can get my hook in when I'm ready to fish it. Okay, I'll finish it off with some head cement. And there it is, Claret Foxwing.